Let's make my birthday cake. So to my cake board, I added a dollop of melted white chocolate that I colored purple. And then my base cake is a 6-inch cake layer. I'm making a 5-tier cake, a mini 5-tier cake. It's a cake trend right now. And the base tier for my mini 5-tier cake is 6 inches. The following tier is 5 inches. I'm just going to be doing 1 inch difference. And then it's just going to be going all the way up like that. And then we have a 4-inch cake layer. These are just single layers that are quite tall. And then 3 inches. Yeah, this is really small. I don't even know how to explain how difficult it is working with cakes this small. The top tier is 2 inches in diameter, and I still had to go back in to trim because there wasn't enough space or difference in the inch layer size, or how would I even explain that? Anyway, if you notice, the wooden skewer is about the same height of the cake. That is just to show you how tall this cake is. It's not a massive cake, okay? It's a very cute mini 5-tier cake. And then for those wondering how I may have gotten this 3-inch and 2-inch tier size, what kind of pan did I use to get a tall cake layer? This is what I used. I cut my baking powder container in half and I used it to bake my cake. And it came out perfect. Yeah, this is what I used. Anyway, I'm applying my frosting. Because of how small this cake is and how difficult it is decorating small cakes, like really tiny cakes, I decided to not do any crumb coats. Since my cakes were already chilled, I just decided to go in with the piping bag method and apply my final coats, because this way it would prevent me from mixing up any cake crumbs with the final finish. That is why I didn't do the palette knife method. I'm doing the piping bag method. Also, like I said, my cakes are chilled because I'm working on a whipped cream cake. So once it's chilled and it's solid, you have little crumbs to worry about. Okay, yeah, so I am just applying my whipped cream frosting all around my cake, and then I'm going to go in and smoothen it. So my birthday was June 24, and I just wanted to do this mini cake trend because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do for my birthday. Usually I would just do a small cake because my older brother's birthday is a day before mine, so there's usually like cake for both of us, and it's just like cake day, cake week for the house. So I really didn't want so much, but at the same time I really liked this trend, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna hop on this trend and just do it for my birthday, and I absolutely do not regret it. So I'm smoothing my whipped cream. For those of you who would like to get my whipped cream recipe, I would leave the link to the video in the description box. I have a video on my channel where I share my whipped cream recipe. Here I am smoothing the cake, but I'm not going for perfection because I'm going to go back with the textured side of my cake comb to give me some nice lines on the cake, which is what I'm doing here right now. And so I'm working from top to bottom. When I tell you guys that working with tiny cakes is very difficult, the topmost tier started tilting. I still had to go back in with like another skewer to kind of press it down and make it straight. It was just giving me problems, especially when you're working with moist cake layers. My goodness, it's not easy. The cake looks sturdy because they are chilled. If I try to do this when they are like at room temperature, I don't even know how I would have gone through that. But yeah, to see what the cake looks like with my beautiful self, wait till the end of the video. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I post videos on cake decorating, cake baking, and cooking. So this is the last tier that I'm adding some texture to. Loving it already. Now I can decide to leave the edges rough and uneven to add a little bit of style to the cake decoration, but because I was going to be adding some drips, I decided to just go back in and scrape it off a little bit. So now I'm adding my drips. Don't ask me what I used to apply my drips. I used a new nylon glove, of course, to transfer my melted white chocolate that I colored purple, and then I'm just adding on my drips because I didn't have a piping bag with like a small cut. Like I didn't have a new piping bag. The piping bag I had already had like a cut for my big nozzles, so I just went in with this to do my drips. And I was doing like left and right pattern, or zigzag pattern if you will, for the drips. I was trying to just do something very simple but yet that had purple, because purple of course is my favorite color. Everyone that knows me knows that I love purple so much. And I just decided I was going to go with a white base, and then I didn't want to color my whipped cream because colored whipped cream, especially dark colors, tends to change the taste of the cream. In fact, frosting in general, better buttercream or whipped cream, depending on the shade of the color you're going for and the amount of food coloring you'll be adding in, it can change the taste of your frosting. And I didn't want that. I actually wanted to enjoy the whipped cream, so I just decided to add the pop of color by coloring my drips. Funny enough, despite how dark the purple is looking, the white chocolate was still sweet. It didn't taste funny. Coloring didn't change the taste of the white chocolate one bit. And then to add a little bit more pop of color, I decided to use artificial flowers, purple flowers. The flowers weren't even this dark. I had to color it using my purple food coloring and a little bit of spirit, edible spirit or vodka, right? And then I added a little bit of silver leaves, edible silver leaves, to pop, because silver goes best with purple. And then I added some silver candles as well, and this is the finished look. What do you guys think? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.